And to think, this movie came close to not happening. Spider-Man No Way Home is the third film centering around the MCU's version of Spider-Man, and Tom Holland's sixth film as the character. After Mysterio revealed to the world that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and framed him as his killer, the world is now turned on him. While he manages to get the charges against him dropped, the negative public image affects not just him, but also his girlfriend MJ and his best friend Ned. To end all of it, Peter goes to Doctor Strange for a spell to make everyone forget that he's Spider-Man, but the spell goes awry and winds up pulling several villains from previously established universes into this universe, and now they're all coming after the MCU Spider-Man. There was some conflict between Sony and Marvel regarding their share of profits on Spider-Man films after Far From Home, but an agreement was reached, and now we've got the biggest film in 2 long years. And how joyous it was seeing crowds filling the theater again. Let me first get this out of the way. I was really intrigued by the premise that the ending of Far From Home set up, that the superhero is not only viewed by the public as a criminal, but that they know his name and face, and how is Spider-Man going to deal with that? That's an idea that I don't think any superhero movie has tackled before, and so I was a bit disappointed that No Way Home uses this simply as a catalyst to kickstart the story that focuses on dealing with the multiverse breaking open. That being said, the story it does give us about the multiverse is a very satisfying one. It does contain some plot holes and lingering questions, but the plethora of fan service that comes with it is not only crowd-pleasing, but beneficial to Peter Parker's story. While Homecoming and Far From Home had the vibe of a coming-of-age high school drama, keeping the stakes mostly personal, No Way Home raises the stakes big time and gets quite a bit darker. And the whole thing moves at breakneck speed. This movie is spectacularly and productively paced. Tom Holland is particularly good here. This is the best he's been out of the 6 films that he's played Spider-Man. I like him and Zendaya's MJ. Their chemistry is light years better than Peter and Liz's in Homecoming. And when Ned is with them too, the movie's even better. It's incredible to see so many classic villains in this movie. We got Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, and the Lizard. They're the sinister 6-1. I expected that the former 3 would be characters, while my presumption for Sandman and the Lizard from the way that they were marketed was that they would just be the mindless enemy titans for the final battle. So it was very pleasantly surprising to see that all 5 of them are fully realized characters. I was really curious to see what the Green Goblin was going to do in this movie, because in Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man, let's be honest, he was one of the goofiest supervillains ever. There were so many scenes with him in that movie that were a total hoot. Him slapping Spider-Man on the back of the head and casually leaning on the sky window, or the Mask sitting on a chair yelling at him, or when he realizes that his glider is going to impale him and he just whimpers, "Oh." I love it, but it's totally silly. There's nothing in that neighborhood to speak of in No Way Home. There is one short scene where the Mask starts talking to him, but it doesn't come off nearly as goofy. In fact, even though Doc Ock has always been my favorite Spider-Man villain, the Green Goblin is the one that I took the most away from in this movie. It really did him a solid. The de-aging effects on Alfred Molina looked really good, and if there was any de-aging for Willem Dafoe, I absolutely never could have been able to tell. Not that any of that was needed for him, the guy's been 60 for like 30 years. And all of the effects are great, there are some very striking visuals during the climax, though why is it the Lizard doesn't look quite as good as he did back in 2012? The action is great, the sequence where Spider-Man fights Doc Ock on the freeway bridge, that felt like the good old days, where one hazard after another is constantly being thrown at Peter very unexpectedly, giving the audience a swift series of jolts. Much like the incredible train chase in Sam Raimi's movie. There's lots more to talk about, which I'll get to in a separate spoiler talk video. For now, I'll just say, this was an emotional, entertaining, and thoroughly satisfying trip. Bringing 3 separate movie universes together is no small feat, and one that, despite some unfortunate missed opportunities, pays off when all's said and done. It's not quite as good as Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, but it easily tops Homecoming and Far From Home, both of which I put in the low to mid 60% range. And scoring on the Factor Facts, I'm going to give Spider-Man No Way Home an 80%. That's a wrap, thank you for watching, I hope you found this review helpful, and be sure to stick around for my spoiler talk video. Like and share, subscribe for more, this is Pop Culture, I'm Alex Pop.